Um, it's Adam again with a little mini guide on Apollo. I'm going to try and make these guides a little bit shorter because I believe that 20 seconds is a bit too long, and I don't think anyone actually watches them for that long. Anyway, so might as well save us most of the time, and I can probably get some more videos out, every day. So be sure to tell me what you actually want to watch, because it's all based on you guys. I'm already making whatever, like the guides, random moments and stuff. Right, so this is Apollo. If we notice here, this is passive, and you've got two passive here. These 5 here are when you're passive active, and this is to get your passive up. So if I just waste this passive now, if you notice this passive the bottom bar's gone down. Whenever you hit anything, you gain a stack. Whenever you gain 10 stacks, you gain 100% attack speed for 5 attacks. This doesn't matter if you hit or miss them, so if you use them, be very careful. Like, make sure you try and hit as many as possible, because if you don't, then you wasted it. So if you notice, I've got my attack speed now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really quick. Very quick god. Apollo's very mobile, like extremely mobile. He's got a really good escape with his third ability. His ultimate makes it so that he can split vision like very well. So yeah, he's just a very, very, very mobile god. Right, so if you look at his abilities now, his first ability is called So Beautiful. I'll show you here now. This is his wave clear harass. It does a moderate amount of damage in a line, and after level 5, I think, unless you go back and get an early heart seeker, it'll clear the back wave from level 5 or possibly level 4, depending on what you actually get early on. So you level this up first. This is your first priority because it's your wave clear, and you generally buy stacking items on Apollo, just due to the fact that Apollo can stack them incredibly quick. This is a joust, so the item build's a bit distorted. Usually you'll only get rank 1 or 2 boots and then go into a heart seeker, but I've just got the 3rd tier now because why not? Basically. So if you notice, it takes it pretty low. With the first one, when you get to one thing I want to stress out: don't level your ult. You level your ultimate like at the very end when you don't have anything else to level. You get it to level 1 at level 5 so you can gank, escape, etc. And then you don't level it because the damage increase is not really worth it. You don't actually need something good damage reduction on it if you play smart. If you like escape constantly, then be sure to get it, but otherwise it just isn't worth the extra point which you can have in your first ability, because you want to get your wave clear as quick as possible. Right, his second ability is called Serenade. It mesmerises all people. It's quite a long CC, but it can be interrupted with I don't know if you noticed there, I've got an extra point in this, left that at level 1. It can be interrupted by actually damaging them, so you'll generally use this and then you're 3 to escape, or vice versa. One thing to know, it gives protections no matter what. If you notice here, these have gone up straight away, like you don't need to actually hit anything for the protection to take effect. So if you get hit by an arachne and you kill her or something but you might die, if you think you might die, you might as well at least try and use your Serenade, because if you do survive, then it's not really anything bad happening, is there? So yeah, remember that that is your main self-healing tool. If they have an assassin, let's say Naja comes up, you can simply just Serenade and then use your third ability to get him off. Right, speaking of his third ability, 1 second, if you notice here, you've got his ultimate here, which this is probably stupid to do. right? So if you notice here, we've got something called the moves. The moves is your escape, your well, it's really something that makes Apollo such a strong god. It's, if you look at the cooldown here, the cooldown's 15 seconds, but generally depending on how you're playing you can build cooldown reduction. I've seen people build Ninja Tabby instead of Warrior Tabby. It's all up to you. If you notice, I've also got stacking items. This is like, I don't know if this is what everyone else builds, but it's something that I like to do. Stacking items are really effective on Apollo. You can stack them with ease. His first ability clears wave. So we've got, if you notice here, it takes 2 shots to clear the minions now. The damage that Apollo can actually do is insane when he gets his stacking items. Ah well. Right, so his third ability, the moves, has a movement speed buff attached to it, and it knocks people back and slows them. It knocks them up and slows them. If you notice here, at the end of the slide, movement speed is, it slows everyone round for 5 to 25% and gives himself increased movement speed. So if we see here, we've got 459, this, you've got 488, that would also slow enemies at the end. So yeah, you've got his ultimate, which is sort of his signature move, if you think about it. His ultimate, it's got quite a long cast time, but he can basically travel the whole map. This is very mana intensive, but that's because it gives him global presence. You can gank mid lane if you can manage your mana. If you get blue buff, then you can manage your mana enough to be able to gank mid lane at level 5, which is really helpful. I'd suggest trying to stay in lane as long as possible though, focusing on your lane. One of the playstyles I use is using your ultimate to escape from people trying to stop from split pushing, and then just go back and do it again. You can split push, go to other towers. You know, it's got a lot of uses. You also CC immune, so it does have defensive properties too. Like you can get away from ganks if needed. You can. Basically, it can do everything. Like it can be escape, it can be an attack. It does quite a lot of. It does quite a lot of damage. It does, I believe, 4 times the damage here, which is quite a lot. I mean, at level 70, that's 280 damage plus the actual damage scaling. Not too bad. But using it in the lane for damage is generally like it could be. It depends on how you play it. So now I'm gonna wait for the king size. Right. So now you've seen his abilities. His general laning style is to be quite passive. Or at least my playstyle. Like this is all based on how I play him. It works for me, so I'm not saying it just like for the fun of it. Like it works incredibly well because you're stacking. You don't want to get into the fight and lose all your stacks. You've got wave clear, so you basically just stay in lane all the time. Split push. You can push incredibly well. So when all the team fighting is happening, if you communicate well enough with your team, you can take their tower, maybe even their phoenix, and it's very difficult for them to come back from that. If they try and come for you instead of team fighting, then that's better for you because you can just ult and leave. They can take another objective. If you if they're losing a team fight, you can always go to them as well. So Apollo's a very versatile god, especially late game in team fights because it can be in them, it can do whatever it needs to do around them.
Your team has
so
laning the middle enemy Phoenix.
Let's go back a second to laning Apollo. You go passive and you level you one up. You always level So Beautiful up because unless you it's not stacking, which to be honest you should do, because he does have very easy stack. You want to be passive, and if the enemy ganked, your main combo is to use Mesmerize into the moves. Reason why is because you want to you want to mesmerize so that they can't attack you, and if they actually have any dots or anything, you get the protection so you don't lose as much health. Then the move so you can get away from the gank. If needed, you can also use your ultimate for getting ganks. It's not as effective as it's not an effective cooldown if you use it. It's only if you need to. If you can avoid it, don't use it because it's on quite a hefty cooldown, and because you don't, well, because a lot of people don't level it, it's very it's quite a waste sometimes when you can usually get away with just the moves and your dash. In team fights, you want to stay at the back. If the assassin comes towards you, simply mesmerize and it moves away. Apollo's pretty simple in terms of escaping. If it's Bakasura, I do suggest that you get beads as quick as you can. Bakasura's only really useful if Bakasura is only useful if he gets you inside of his cripple. And it's if Bakasura gets you inside of his cripple, then you generally will die because Bakasura's got incredible amounts of damage. So always remember to stay stay at the back of the fights, and if they come to you, always focus whatever's closest. Don't in League of Legends there was a time where people were just always focusing carries, even the carries were going to get focused. You hit whatever's closest. If you try and go into their team, to get their carry, then their carry will be safe because he's in he's in the middle of his team, and you're trying to get him, so you're at the front line. Easy pickings for warriors, easy pickings for everything really. So positioning is important, but with Apollo, it's important, but it's a lot more flexible. It's more forgiving. You can, if you don't position very well, you can still have a chance to survive and do a lot of damage before you die. Apollo's very good at objectives. He can take, because of his attack speed and generally he builds stacking items. Like now I've got quite a lot of lifesteal, if you look here. He can handle objectives very well. Very, very effective at handling objectives, so as long as you've got someone who knows what they're doing with the hog, because if they miss hog then it's possibly, it could be lost. It's generally best to, early objectives are really, really effective. So because of his attack speed, if you get a little bit of lifesteal, if you and your jungler and your your jungler and your support want to go and take, say, Gold Fury, then it won't be that difficult. Oh no. So that's another thing that you should remember. The final thing about Apollo, which I want to stress, is the actives. Actives are really important because they generally provide a huge effect. Usually for my actives I'll go Purification Beads, or if against Freya, Aegis Amulet, or Aegis, whatever. Then the second one depends on you. I like to be mobile, I like to be really, really quick. That's just how I play. I don't know, in my opinion, speed is the best stat in the game. If you can't catch someone, then you can't hit them with any of your CC or anything, so it's very difficult. So I'll take Sprint if I don't take Fatalis. So basically, for me, if you especially once again, I can't stress this enough because I play Bakasura quite a bit. If Bakasura comes towards you, he will try and ult you. If you don't shoot, you will die unless you have beads. So this is my personal choice is Sprint for unless I need anything else, because you can move quick while attacking. It's just a much better, a much better active than most others, in my opinion. Teleport to towers is good on other carries, but Apollo doesn't really need it because of his ultimate. Now a quick look at the build. The build I've got now is a stacking build. You get Warrior Tabai fully finished after you got Heartseeker. After that you get a Devourer's Glove. The reason you get Hat Seeker so early is because it gives a much bigger advantage than Devourer's Gloves. Then you get the Devourer's Gloves, and as soon as you get these two stacked, you want to be really safe, but still try and poke. For example, now, because I'm ahead in lane, I can go against Ra now, even though it's a bot. I'm ahead in lane, I can go against him with relative ease. Because if you as long as you play it smart and poke whenever you should be alright. Now this is much like... Don't die, Rabot, don't die. Yet. Right, so, build-wise, I go the 2 stacking items. You can get the other stacking items if you need to. Transcendence is apparently a decent item, but I can't see the reason you need it on Apollo. You don't, the mana problem's that bad. You go Kin Size because of the huge damage it gives. Kin's Blades is still quite meh. Kin Size, because you've got quite a bit of damage in your abilities, Kin Size is generally just much better. Like, if you don't have much burst damage, then that's fine. You get a Kin's Blade because it'd ramp up quicker. Like, your damage would probably be much more, it'd be a lot more stable. But Apollo's damage is quite a lot of burst. Like, if you've got your full passive stacks up, and then you've got, if you've got your full passive stacks up, you hit your ultimate and you're so beautiful, then that's quite a lot of damage. So, like, now I'll show you. Wherever the rise, I'll go find him. Right, Rabot's there. So if we notice here, lots of damage. So you want to, the reason why Kin Size is such a good item is because of the huge damage it gives. The stats are pretty good too, don't get me wrong. So you're not paying for nothing. The stats are still pretty good even after the nerfs. Then you'll probably, it depends on how you want to play. I generally play Deathbringer, which generally means Malice, because Deathbringer with Malice is better. If you want crit but no Deathbringer, you get a Rage. But if you're going to go crit, you might as well get a Deathbringer anyway, because it's such a huge, huge amount of damage to your auto attacks, or your basic attacks. So in my opinion, it's a better thing to do. So, if you notice here, when you get, this is, because it's a late game carry now, his damage is intense, he's very strong. So, while most carries have certain points, because of his passive and his 2 escapes and steroids, Apollo's never ever irrelevant. If needed, he can stop, he can do whatever he needs to do. Early game, he's got quite a lot of damage because of his passive, which means he can auto attack a lot quicker than any other carry when he's dueling. Late game, he can take towers quicker than any other carry. He's got better wave clear than most, so it's a really strong passive with quite a high uptime too. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all hopefully soon.